Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle, and I'm fired up to be the host of this wildly popular podcast. And we are so excited to bring you episode number
136.
Yes, number 136. Hard to believe, 136 episodes. We are well on our way to 200. And that is going to be a monumental moment. Maybe, just maybe, we will hit 1 million listens by that date. Maybe. That'll be amazing. We are so excited to be able to bring you this podcast every single week on Monday. It gives you all week long to be able to apply it, to be able to make right now relevant, practical progress with your finances. You like that?
Yeah,
right now relevant, practical progress with your finances. We want you to win with your money and live a fully funded life. I'm joined as always by Megan Hibbard, my co-host, and today we're going to talk about what?
Today we are talking about how to maximize your tax refund. So our question for today is, I'm getting a tax refund this year, but I want to make sure I don't blow it like I have every other year. Ooh. Can you give me some tips on how to ensure I use this money in the best possible way?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Absolutely, we can. And this is a big deal. Now, this year, they've moved back being able to file for your tax refund, at least when we were recording this podcast, to February 12th. Because they're busy cutting checks to all these people with the stimulus payments due to COVID. And so this really matters. Now, before we talk about that, we're going to go to one of my favorite sections of the podcast. You know what time that is. If you've been a steady listener, let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is brought to you by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. Our saving and investing tools are designed to help you make more informed decisions. Whether you're wanting to know what your investment strategy will produce for you by retirement age, or determine how much you should save for each paycheck for known upcoming non-monthly expenses like Christmas, vacation, and car repairs, you'll find the calculator you need at iwbnin.com. Click on Tools and select Saving and Investing.
Yes, I am going to talk about the current money event section. We're going to talk about the soaring stock market. And I'm going to answer some questions. You ready for some questions, Megan?
I'm ready. Let's go.
One of the questions I get is, should you pull some money out of your investments right now? And that's a big question. Everybody's saying, hey, Joe, when is the bubble going to burst? When is it going to collapse? Well, I'll let you know, if you're a member of Fully Funded Life, there's a member-only event coming up in the month of March where I prognosticate about the market. However, I will refer to you with this. I like to refer to something that I call the 5-year rule. The 5-year rule goes this way. This is a Joe Sangle made-up rule. You should have a rule that has your name on it, on a made-up rule. There's no hard and fast thing with this other than it's hard and fast for Joe Sangle because it's Joe Sangle's made-up rule. And it is called the 5-year rule. Is it the 3-year rule?
No,
it's the 1-year rule. Is it the 5-month rule? No, it is the 5-year rule. Here is the rule. That in this 5 years, I look at any money that I have available to me and I ask this question. Whether it's invested or not invested, I ask myself this question. If I think I need this money, do I think I need this money within the next 5 years? If the answer to that question, do I need this money within the next 5 years? Do I believe I might need this money in the next 5 years? If that is answered yes in any way, I'm putting that money in a safe savings account, not investing. I'm going to put that money into a jar in the yard. I almost told him which jar in what jar. I'm in a mattress. It's in the freezer. It's in a bank account. It'll earn the same amount of money in all those places.
Unfortunately. But
here's what I know. If I think I might need it in the next 5 years, this is based on math. Any 97% of all the 5-year periods that you could make up of the marketplace. So April 1, 1992 to March 31, 1997, that's a 5-year period. You can choose any 5-year period, 97% plus or minus 1% have made money. So I like my odds in a 5-year window. 100% of any 10-year period has made money. So that's a big deal. So that's why I choose 5 years. And it's a Joe Sangle made-up rule, my 5-year rule. If I don't believe I'll need it in the next 5 years, there's this thing called inflation that is gobbling up my money's ability to buy stuff, so I must put it at risk in some level of investment. The longer term that I believe I won't need the money, for example, some money that I get every month, I'm saying I don't need this till retirement. Well, then obviously I'm going to take much more risk with that money. If I think I need it within 6 years, I might take a little less risk, but nonetheless, I will take risk and invest it. And so that's really important. So when you're thinking about pulling money out of an investment, I would say this, and you're thinking about pulling it out to cash. Most people are saying, I need to pull it out to cash. I'm going to sell this investment, put it in cash. That is a saving versus investing question. If you're saying I'm moving it from one investment to another, hey, look, that can be perfectly fine to do that. I'm going to have it in this investment for 2 years, then move it to another and for 3 years, from real estate over to this stock market investment or vice versa, whatever. But for me, the rule on saving it or investing it is 5 years. So if you have any money, hear me on this, that is invested right now, and you think you might need it in the next 5 years, it should not be in an investment. This is Joe Sangle's rule. Joe Sangle made up 5-year rule. So you can make up your own number of years, but here's what I know. Many people have made a colossal error by leaving money in an investment that they needed within the next year or two for a house down payment, a car replacement, their kids' college, and then the market goes down like it did in March 23rd of 2020, or November, December of 2018, or 2008 and 9, or 2001, 2, and 3, or 93 and 4, or 1987. Should I go back anymore? You see, downturns happen in short terms. And so I strongly urge you, make up a rule for you, the one that works for you. I like mine. It's backed up with some math. 5-year rule. And that would answer the question, should I pull out any cash? You know what? I have some money that I think I might need in the next 5 years. I've pulled it out in cash. Surprise, surprise. I have other money, pretty confident I'm not going to need. I've got it invested. Some of it went down, way down in 2020. It went down in 2018, November, December. But guess what happened a month or two later? It had come back. And that's why I don't worry about the day-to-day for money, because that money that's invested, I know it's there for at least 5 years. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have it there. So that's what I would just share with you about the soaring stock market. I encourage you to take a look at your investments. Do you have any money that's in there in your defined window of time, 3 years, 5 years, 21 years, whatever it might be? You might need to think about pulling it out. And that's it for today's current money events section.
That was good. Okay, our success story today comes from Jim, and Jim writes, he says, "Thank you for your ministry. I'm a retired CPA. I prepare an expected income and outflow every month when when I complete my personal bank reconciliation. When I do next month's, I look back and compare actual to expected. So a kind of budget."
So he calls it a kind of budget. Mm-hmm. It sounds a lot like a budget to me.
Yeah. I also have a 20-year plan to age 86 now.
Woo.
It amazes me how people can live without knowing or planning. I teach financial planning at my church and have used your books and talks. Keep up your great work. And that is from Jim.
Well, thank you, Jim. And this is just more proof, further evidence that when you have a plan and you work the plan, you're going to achieve lots of things. And you're going to have, what I read in this, the way that it was written is, he has confidence, financial confidence. And if you're listening to this podcast, I would ask the question, do you have complete financial confidence? You see, confidence in your finances comes from having control, from knowing where your money's going, right? What do they say? You got to be knowing where your money's going, I think is how they say it. Kind of rhymes if you say it right. But that's so huge. And he has a 20-year plan. He's 66, obviously, because he's got a plan out to age 86. That's incredible. Because I love saying the statement, do right now what you'll look back 10 and 20 years from now and say, I'm so glad I did that back then. And Jim is doing it. And so, listen, he's saying it amazes him on how people can live without knowing or planning. I totally agree. So thank you, Jim, for being one more of millions of people who recognize the power of having a plan, and for taking time to share your story with us. And even more, thanks for sharing it with all those good people at your church and your community. And we're just so proud to be a little part of that with our books and resources. So God bless you, Jim. Thanks so much. And again, thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so we have our featured resource for this month. So you might have heard us talking about it, but it's our new membership. It's called Fully Funded Life. So it has 4 different components to it that we like to talk to. So I'll give you the first one, and then I'll let Joe expand on it, and then I'll give you the other one. So the first one is courses.
Courses. And so courses is education so that you have the financial education you need to prosper.
Yep. Okay, so the second one is challenges.
Challenges. Challenges are what we've developed to have really fast, I'm talking 20 days, 40 days or less, focused, massive improvement, massive action on a particular area of finances.
Yep. And then we have coaching.
Coaching. So many people don't know who to turn to get wise financial advice for their personal money questions. And so that's what we are. With Fully Funded Life, you have access to I Was Broke, Now I'm Not certified coaches. During open office hours, you can reserve 15-minute blocks of time with them, no additional charge. It comes with the membership to where when you have your financial question that you're facing and you want to get somebody's wisdom who's not trying to sell you anything, and you know that you're just getting just pure good wisdom from them, that's what it is. It's coaching.
All right. And I would say one of the, all of those are important, but this one is a huge one. And the last one is community.
Community. You got to have encouragement. You got to be with like-minded people. And so you'll be joining a large family around the world, really, who have decided to be a part of Fully Funded Life. And we're all different. We look different, different careers, different things that we do, different ages, different stages, and on different rungs of the ladder. But there's two things in common. One is we all want to live a fully funded life. And number two, we're committed to doing whatever is necessary to achieve it financially. And we are there as part of Fully Funded Life to help all of that, the courses, the challenges, the coaching, and the community come together all in one place to help you win. I really hope you'll check it out at fullyfunded.life. That's fullyfunded.life. For less than the cost of your monthly subscription to your favorite, whatever it is, Disney Plus, Hulu, and all those things, you can join today and really be on your way to winning with your money.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. So for our featured question for today, it's, remember we're talking about tax refunds. So our question is, I'm getting a tax refund this year, but I want to make sure I don't blow it like I have every other year. Can you give me some tips on how to ensure I use my money in the best possible way?
Well, yes, we can. And so one of the statements that we would say is we want to follow something called the I was broke, now I'm not ladder. And so that's really important because the I was broke, now I'm not ladder is the roadmap to win with your money God's way. I mean, when you think about all of the challenges that people have faced with their finances, the ladder is really the thing that would have helped them prevent being in the challenge. I've got the ladder pulled up here and you can see, it is set goals, save money, start with 1 month's worth of expenses, then investing. And this puts your financial decisions in order in a way that helps you win. And so I strongly urge you to follow the ladder. When we go through those different decisions of financial decision making, many of them tend to compete with each other. We meet people all the time who say, I'm getting a tax refund. Should I pay off my credit card bill with it? And we have to pull out the ladder and say, where are you at in your journey? Because that can be a great decision to pay off the credit card. However, if we say, hey, have you taken time to write down your plans, hopes, and dreams, which we would call rung one of the ladder? Most of them, half of them say no. Well, that's your first step then. Before you spend any of the tax refund money, you should identify what your plans, hopes, and dreams are because we fully believe this. We believe everybody listening to the podcast would agree with this, that you should let your plans, hopes, and dreams drive your money decisions, not your bank account drive your money decisions. Because if we allowed our bank account, man, if Joe Sango allowed that, I would still be sitting with $4.13 dreams.
Yeah.
And then number two is to save money. We asked the question, do you have a month's worth of money in savings? Because if you don't, that is the next step for you with your tax refund money.
Yeah. I think we all know that that unexpected things happen and occur in our lives, but we're not living like we know that. So
right.
we're not, so if
the behavior doesn't match up with what we say we believe.
So if you haven't saved that 1 month of expenses, but you're working on paying off your debt, or you're already starting to invest, or you're doing the other steps of the ladder, but you're not doing that, well, when the unexpected expense comes and you have to go out of town to help a loved one, take care of them, or, something like that happens that you're not prepared for, you're going to have to go back on the ladder and you're going to, it's going to require you to go back when if you had that money saved, you could, okay, I'm going to use that money. I'm going to, the money that I already have saved, and then I'm going to keep going in the rung that I'm on. So that's really important for you to look at that ladder and figure out which step that you're on. Are you focusing on saving, or are you focusing on rung number 4, paying off all your non-house, non-business debt? So before we even start, I feel like that's a great place to begin, is looking at the ladder, really taking a deep dive into what rung you're on and how do you need to proceed.
You got to start with the roadmap.
Yeah.
You would not get to your destination in any good shape if you don't first plan out your approach. Mm-hmm. The ladder helps you decide the next thing to do with the money. And then it's important to identify the 3 ways you could potentially use the money to achieve that next rung. And a lot of times, a tax refund allows people to get a chunk of money they wouldn't otherwise have. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes people say, can I go out of order with the ladder? And I want to pay off this debt. I could pay off this credit card completely, but I couldn't put all of it in savings. And I need more money to have my 1 month's worth of expenses saved up. Well, then I ask the question, how much money per month does that free up? Let's say it took $1,000 to pay off the credit card. If they said, hey, I've been paying $500 a month to the credit card, it could make good sense to pay off the credit card, and because you're going to be able to quickly recover that in your emergency fund.
Yeah.
But if you're saving $25 a month on that $1,000 balance, it's going to take you 40 months to take that $25 and put what you could do right now with that $1,000 in your emergency fund. So we have a free tool. It's located at iwasbrokenowimnot.com. Surprise, surprise. And if you're watching online on YouTube, or if you watch on Facebook, you'll be able to see us go to this tool. You just go to Tools and click on Budgeting. It's called the Mini Budget. And when you click on this Mini Budget, it will download it, and you'll be able to pull up a copy of the Mini Budget tool. And what I love about it is it allows us to achieve the way to plan and spend the money 3 different ways before you spend it for real. So when I say identify 3 different ways you could spend it, well, if you try to do this in your head, we know one thing. It ain't going to work out well. So this budget allows you to put in the tax refund. So let's show an example of this. Let's say you're getting a tax refund of $2,731. You type it right here where it says budgeted amount, and you'll see income minus outgo has to equal what?
Exactly 0.
Trademark, exactly 0. And it makes 3 exactly 0 budgets. And when it doesn't balance to exactly 0, of course, if not every dollar has a name, it will show yellow, saying you haven't given every dollar a name, caution. And if it's overspent, it will turn red. Mm-hmm. And the goal is you can spend it on paper with 3 different plans. And here's what I've discovered. When people come to me and say, I'm getting a tax refund, or for that matter, a bonus or found money, and they say, I'm going to use it for this, I'm going to use it for this, and they're panting, like my dog pants, are so excited. Did you like that? One of the things I know is they run in their mind to what's most urgent, but not what's most important or effective in their money journey. And this habit of taking your tax refund and planning it 3 different ways before you spend it for real, it will ensure that you will divert that money to what's most important and most powerful. It'll help you get past that feeling of urgency. And so let's say in one example, let's say this person is on rung number 2, and they're working to build that 1 month's worth of expenses, and they need another $2,000. So they could say emergency fund in the first little budget, and they can type in $2,000. Now they have $731 left. Let's say they're already contributing to get the company match in their company retirement plan. That's rung number 3. So now they want to use the other $731 to put it towards their credit card. So they could type in credit card and put in $731. That's one way they could spend it. Now, another way they could say, hey, it's emergency fund. I'm going to make sure I do that. I'm going to do the $2,000, but I want to go on a little vacation. I really feel like I need to go on a little $731 vacation. That's another way to spend it. And what if they also said, hey, you know what? I got this emergency fund, but I want to put $1,500 towards that because I have a medical bill that was a surprise, and I need to come up with $721 to pay for that. And let's say also that they realize they've got the special uniform they need for their kids. It's an upcoming expense. It's for football uniform. and that football uniform is going to cost $325.
Sure.
They still have $185 less. So they say, hey, we're going to go to a night out on the town. I don't know what that night out is, $185. Some cities that'll go a long ways, others it won't. But I hope that you get the gist of the whole point of this exercise. The whole point is I'm doing something that's abstract to me because it's not relevant to me. I don't have a $2,731 tax refund coming back. But if you do, listening to the podcast, you will know immediately for your finances what is one way you could spend it. And I challenge you, when you get done with that first one, ask it again. What's another way we could spend it? And then what's another way? And somewhere in those three, you're going to find the best use of this money. You know, the third way that we could look at this is to use our 6-word, 4-part plan to win with your money.
Yes.
What is that?
It is give, save, invest, plan the rest.
That's right. Give, save, invest, plan the rest. It's such an important part, a way to look at money that some people decide, hey, you know what? Every time I receive money, I want to do these 4 things with money. I want to give some, save some, invest some, plan the rest. You can use that when you're using the mini budget. And you can say, you know what? I know that I need to put this money in savings. That's good. 2,000 is good. But I would also like to give, I'd like to give $150 away, to my neighbor. I know they're struggling right now and I want to help them. You could also say, you know what? I want to invest. I want to buy my pet stock. I want to buy 1 share of Apple stock, whatever. And you can buy it on your Robinhood app or Acorns or on Schwab, Ally, whatever it is. And then you want to plan the rest. Hey, you can plan out the rest using the mini budget. But give, save, invest, plan the rest is a fantastic way for you to think about using tax refund money as well. That combined with the ladder is perfect.
Yeah, I feel like we're at this point and people are like, okay, well, in some of your examples, you included a vacation, and some of them, it was just all paying
boring
off.
stuff.
Like it feels boring. So I feel like that's really where point number 4 comes in, and it's remember your dreams. So in the middle of the word refund is the word fun. So make sure we're including some of that.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. As a spender, I see the word fun in the middle of the word refund. And I think it is a sign from God we should have some fun with it. And so I want to high five all our podcast listeners who are fellow spenders who agree with me. And if you do agree that the word fun is in refund for a reason, you can comment on YouTube, on Facebook. You let us know with email, and we'll high five you at a distance again. But listen, if you could completely fund a fun dream with the tax refund, that could be a great use of the money. If you could do something fun with the money and help progress up the ladder to a fully funded life, that's even better.
Yeah.
And so make sure you remember your dreams when you're planning your tax refund. Very few times in our year do we get to access extra money, especially in chunks. Most of us, extra chunks of money, they're kind of rare. And so I know some people used to argue back in the day when interest rates are higher that you're giving the government a no interest loan. Well, now that's what happens when you put it in the bank. You're giving the bank a no interest loan. And I don't really mind because it's kind of a forced way of building a savings account. And so I really strongly urge people, remember your dreams when you're planning your refund spending. It's such a huge part of it, and I think you'll be so glad you did.
Yeah, and if you're doing something fun with your refund, let us know what it is, because maybe
we
think
share
it was
those
fun
ideas
too.
with everybody. It'll be great.
So our quote for today is actually one that you say, and it's, if you care, you will prepare.
That's right. And if you care, you will prepare. And it rhymes again. I like rhyming stuff. It helps me remember things. Yes. I don't know if it shows my level of intellect or what, but if you do care, you will prepare. And that is so true. If you care about where your tax refund money is going to go, if you care about your fully funded life, then I urge you, prepare a plan for it. Make sure that you follow the I was broke, now I'm not ladder. It's a great roadmap. And then use those 6-word, 4-part plan, that give, save, invest, plan the rest. Remember that there's fun in the middle of the word refund, and you'll be so glad you did. Hey, in our next episode, we're going to talk about 5 tips to help you absolutely, positively, actually follow your budget. A lot of people prepare a budget and then they fall off of the wagon. They prepare the budget, they get a month in, they fall off. 10 days in, they fall off. We're going to give you 5 tips to help you absolutely, positively, always actually follow your budget. It's going to be something that I'm positive is going to help that 50 to 60% of you who've never been able to get that habit really working in your life. Don't miss next Monday's episode. It's going to be awesome.
You're absolutely positive it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely, positively.
All right. And if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to others who could benefit. You could do this by quickly rating and leaving a review for us. And these ratings and reviews help us get our podcast to others who could benefit. And if you implemented one of our tips and you have a success story to share, please let us know. You can email us at info@iwbnan.com.
Hey, we're committed to your financial success. If you have any topics you want us to talk about, let us know. Who knows? Your question might be featured on an upcoming episode of the podcast. We are fired up to serve you. It's Monday. Do one thing. Plan your tax refund this week. Max it out. Make sure it works for you towards your fully funded life. Joe Sangl with Megan Hibbard saying have a great week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.